Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Teyaaasantos and today we're going to talk about my teen pregnancy experience. Well, I was 17 when I found out I was pregnant. I actually found out 2 days before my 18th birthday. And I was sneaking around, okay? Let's just get that. Listen to your parents, because I definitely was sneaking around. Because my mom kept asking us, like, were we having sex? Were we having sex? And we definitely kept saying no. Because you know how parents are. Like, if you tell them you're doing something, then they're going to do everything in their power to prevent you from doing that. So, you're just going to lie. And that's what I did. I lied. I lied all the way through. So, I found out I was pregnant because like 2 weeks before I actually took the pregnancy test, I kept having like weird symptoms. Like I was nauseous, I slept all day, I was always tired, I was eating everything, weird stuff, just weird. Like stuff I don't normally eat, but I want it. Like, oh, I want Burger King. Who eats Burger King? Not me. And so my boyfriend kept saying like, I think you're pregnant, I think you're pregnant. And I knew, I was like, shut up, because I knew I was pregnant. Okay, I've never been nauseous, I barely get sick, so for me to be throwing up is out of the ordinary. So I took the pregnancy test, and when I tell you, as soon as the P hit the pregnancy test, it said pregnant. So I'm like, I can't be pregnant, I can't be, this is not how, life don't work this way for me. So then I took another one and it said pregnant. So we were just sitting there looking dumb, acting like we don't know how we got pregnant and how this came about, but clearly we knew. So my plan was, I'm not telling my mom. She's just gonna find out when the baby get here. And that clearly didn't go as planned, because a week later I had used my mom's card and she had told me to get something from the store for her. And so when I came back, she was like, so where's my card at? After I gave her stuff, I told my boyfriend like, oh, hand her my purse. No, hand her the card out of my purse. And he handed her the whole purse. And like I knew, like I got something in there I know I'm not supposed to. And the droppers to the pregnancy test were in there. Who'd be like, oh, this goes to a pregnancy test? Well, clearly my mom does, because as soon as she opened the purse, she's like, who took a pregnancy test? I'm looking like, what are you talking about? I'm like, these got to a pregnancy test. I'm like, no they don't. I'm like, Asia took a pregnancy test. She's like, you're lying. I'm like, my friend Asia took a pregnancy test. She was like, you're lying. And I was like, okay, I took a pregnancy test. She was like, what did it say? I looked like, I was looking at my boyfriend and he looking at me. I'm like, it said positive. And she was like, are you serious? And I'm like, yes. And then she didn't say anything. Like, it just got silent as fuck. And like, when I say silent, like nothing was heard of the rest of the day. So I just walked out of her room and did anything else. And so he definitely wasn't telling his parents. Like, we had to legit force him to tell his mom and dad that I was pregnant. Like, I was already 2 months pregnant when he finally told that I was pregnant. Matter of fact, I was 3 months pregnant, because it was right before my gender reveal. Yeah, right before my gender reveal, before he told that I was pregnant. And so, like, we were scared. And I was scared, because I was on the road to graduating early. I was graduating in December, and I was supposed to go off to college in January. And so it was like we were just scared. We didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know how we were going to take care of a kid. We barely could take care of ourselves. He was in college, and he wasn't even supposed to be out here. But he kept sneaking back on the weekends, coming to see me. Or I would sneak over to him and go see him. And we weren't supposed to be doing that. So telling our parents was the hardest part. But once we got over that, we were worried about figuring out how we were going to do this. How we're going to take care of a kid. We're supposed to be in college right now. How we're going to provide financially for a child when we're children ourselves. But after that, I feel like things went a little smoothly. Like, my pregnancy went smoothly. We saved up. He was working, I was working, and then I quit, because who wants to work when you're 7-8 months pregnant? Not me. But it was hard. Definitely was hard, because now you went from, oh, I'm a wild teenager, I'm gonna do this, I could do that, but now I'm walking around 7, 8 months pregnant, I can't do nothing. One, I lost all of my friends. People stopped coming around. And it put a real big strain on our relationship because it felt like everything was stressed out. Like, we couldn't really do much because we were worried about, oh, our baby's about to come. Our baby's about to come. So we can't do this. We can't do that. And we were used to just going out, doing what we wanted to do. And then all of a sudden, that came to a halt. But when we get to labor, baby, one, I was a whole week overdue. And then I was in labor 16 hours, naturally 16 hours before I decided to get an epidural. And that was the worst decision of my life. Getting an epidural was the worst decision of my life because now I have back pains at 19, which is unheard of. Well, it's probably not unheard of, but it's out of the ordinary. I shouldn't be in pain like I'm 60 at 19. And labor was hard. When I tell you those contractions, you feel like you're going to die. Like, legit going to die. I was hot. I was throwing up. I no longer wanted to give birth anymore. Like, during my whole pregnancy, I was like, oh, I can't wait until the baby comes. But in labor, I'm like, you know what? I could just close my legs back up and we could just hold her in for a little bit longer. Because that's how I really felt, because it hurt. It hurt bad. And my plans in going into labor was, okay, I'm going into here naturally. I'm going to do it naturally. I don't want any drugs. I don't want any epidurals. I don't want anything. I just want to do it natural. I'm going to practice my breathing. I'm going to bounce on the ball. I'm going to walk. And it's going to be okay. That's my pep talk before I got induced. But the Pitocin, I believe it's called, is what they use to induce you. And that causes your contractions to come harder because they're forced. And when they're forced, I feel like it's gonna hurt more because they're forcing them to come on. So they're giving you medicine to make the contractions harder than what they normally be. So my contractions were maybe 20 seconds apart, and then they'll last for a minute. So it's like I had no breathing time in between. I couldn't practice my breathing because every time they hit you, it feels like your breath was out of you. It felt like you were just getting hit by a truck every time, and the wind was getting knocked out of you every time a contraction came on. And so after 16 hours, I'm like, I can't do this. I had no rest. I went in there at 9 o'clock at night, and I don't know how much 16 hours is from there, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you. But after that, I was like, okay, I want this epidural. My mom was like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I need this epidural because I tried to get the medicine, but it was like maybe 3, 4 in the morning, I'm guessing, around that time, and my baby was asleep. And she has to move in order for them to give you that medicine. She has to be moving and active. And since she didn't want to get active, I couldn't get the medicine. So I'm like, okay, I need this epidural. I can't take this anymore because I had no time to actually breathe. I didn't have time to just sit there and like relax and try to relax my body and do the breathing exercises they teach you. That all goes out the window. That legit goes all out the window. Because like all of those classes, all of that don't work once you're actually in labor because your mind is not on, let me try to breathe. No, your mind is on like, what the hell is going on with me right now? Why is this happening to me? And I've broken bones before, and labor is a million times worse than breaking a bone. I probably can break every bone in my body and still not feel the pain I felt during labor. And that epidural, when they gave me that epidural, I passed out. Like, I legit passed out after that epidural. And after that, my whole body was numb. From the waist down, I was numb. My toes were numb. You ever, like, sat in a chair for too long, and then when you try to stand up, your legs are numb? That's how it felt. And, like, it had that same tingly feeling, and I couldn't move my toes. I couldn't lift my legs, and I tried a million times, too. It was like, some girl, stop. Girl, stop. I'm like, no, why I can't feel my legs? It was really horrible. And right after having the baby, I had her maybe 5 hours after I got my epidural. And that was the easy part. That's what I can say. The epidural, I didn't feel a thing. I didn't feel not one thing from the epidural. Now, the after labor part, once that epidural wears off, baby, you're going to feel the cramps from after labor. You're going to hurt. You're really going to hurt. And then the actual healing process of that actually, it's painful. It hurts when you first try to use the restroom, and walking hurts a little bit because you're cramping still from just having a baby. But overall, after like the aftermath, it feels like it's a blur after you have your kid. Like once you have during the labor, it's like, oh my god, this is so hard, this is so hard. But afterwards, it's like, oh dang, that wasn't that hard. It's just the pain was too much. But it's like it's a blur after that. Like it's like, oh dang, that was so far away. It doesn't feel like you just had a baby right after you have your baby, if that makes sense. But after having my baby, like, that was, like, the best moment ever. Like, the best moment of my life was seeing my actual child come out of me. And now that's when it gets hard. Like, I thought pregnancy was hard. I thought giving birth was hard. But having a newborn baby, having to adjust to their schedules and do what they want you to do at the times they want you to do is when it becomes hard. Because you're going to lose sleep. You're going to probably not be able to eat when you want to eat. You can't use the bathroom when you want to use the bathroom. And everything is around this little bitty baby schedule. It's weird because it's like usually we're on an adult schedule. We're on everybody else's time. But now we're on a child's time. Not even a child, a baby, a newborn baby. Somebody that can't even tell you what they want. But they're dictating what you're going to do with your life. And that's how it feels, seriously. Like you do whatever they want you to do when they want you to do it. And like the first 3 weeks are the hardest. Because the first 3 weeks is you're both adjusting. You're both adjusting to each other. You're trying to learn like, oh, this cry means this cry means that. And like, you know, you can go to parenting classes, you can read books, and it is still you're never fully prepared to have a kid. I don't feel like anybody's prepared, whether when I was 17 going on 18 or me being 30 going on 31. I'm never going to fully be prepared for that because every child is different, so those books don't really apply to you. It's more of a broad thing. Like, yeah, they could tell you like, yeah, you have to learn your baby's cry, and that's true, but it's like every baby's cry is different. The parenting classes are going to teach you things that might not even apply to your child. They might say, well, you could swaddle your baby and rock them like this, but my baby didn't like to be swaddled. She wanted to be held up like she was grown. She wanted you to hold her just like this, standing up, and that's how she wanted. That's exactly how she wanted to be held. She never wanted to be swaddled, none of that. So I feel like that's the hardest part is those first 3 weeks because you're learning like, okay, when she cries like this, that means she pooped. When she cries like that means she's hungry. When she cries like this, that means she just wants to be held. And so learning the difference of her cries was the hardest part. But after that, I feel like everything goes a little smoother because now they're learning and you're getting to learn with them. They're learning how to hold their heads, and you're learning how to maybe a different way to make them stop crying. Or everything is a learning process. It's like you guys grow up together. Y'all grow together. Whether you're 30 or you're 16, you're still going to grow up together with your child because you're going to learn new things as you go on. And now that my child's 11 months, now it's like, it's way hard. It's way harder. Because now I miss those first 3 weeks. Because now you wake up and she might be trying to climb off the bed. Or now she is getting into things, learning how to open bottles and open containers. And it's like, wow, like, I'm really somebody's mom. And like when those first 3 weeks are there, like it don't hit you. When I say it doesn't hit you, it doesn't. Because it's like, okay, she sleeps, she wakes up. And like, yeah, that gets a little annoying. She wakes up every 2 hours. But it's like, okay. But now, like that my child's 10 months, it's like, wow, I'm really somebody's parent. Like she's about to be 1 year old. Well, I mean, 11 months. She's about to be 1 year old and I'm somebody's parent. And she calls me mom. And like once they call you mom, like that's like that. If you don't feel it any other time, that's when you're gonna feel like, wow, I'm really a parent. I'm really somebody's mom. I'm responsible for somebody else. And sometimes it doesn't hit you as soon as they expect it to hit you. Like right after you have your baby, you might not get that attachment like everybody says you're gonna get as soon as you have your kid, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's what people fail. That's the problem that they fail to tell us when we're gonna have a kid, and then we feel wrong because like wow, like it doesn't register. Like yeah, you get like okay, I gotta wake up and I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and I gotta do this, but it doesn't actually register in your head until it just one day you're gonna look and it just clicks like wow, I'm really somebody's parent. I'm really a mom, and you don't really think about being a mom until you're a mom, unless you're trying to have kids or something. But it doesn't hit you until it hits you. And that's pretty much it.